other
there
orgs,
any,
unfortunately.
like, I don't know, people who are a little bit too in their like tribal camps that give you shit about going to like an NPC show all natural? Is
Other
there
orgs,
any,
unfortunately.
like, I don't know, people who are a little bit too in their like tribal camps that give you shit about going to like an NPC show all natural? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I hear it all the time from,
Oh, really?
people, that promote for the orgs, or I don't, I do. I get shit for it. I'm
Is
like,
it
listen,
because they think, like, is it more of like a, hey, you're like a traitor kind of a thing? Or is it like they think maybe you're doing things that you shouldn't be for that show?
no, not at all. Yeah, they would never. It's like you're getting zero accusation of like, oh, maybe you're taking stuff. It's just like you're giving an organization money that doesn't drug test and doesn't support. And I'm just like, bodybuilding is bodybuilding. Then the route that you go, that's up to each individual. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stand on some moral high ground. I really don't care. Just don't
Right.
don't lie and try to do a natural show if you're taking stuff.
Sure.
If
Yep.
you're not taking stuff, you should have the ability to do whatever shows you want. If you want to, from a competitive standpoint, it's almost more exciting. It's like, oh, this isn't a level playing field, so to speak, but let me just see how I can hang and bang kind of thing.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean, I've gotten shit for it, but you gotta do what you
Yeah.
want to do as an athlete.
What's your like typical off season weight?
So I hang out super comfortably just between 172 and 175.
Okay.
And that's like a very lean, like a pretty lean body comp.
Mhm.
But I pushed up to 183, 185 before my prep. And my lowest weight this prep was 157, but my best look was like 160.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost like 26 total pounds. Um, the coolest thing that I can, kind of share with you that you would find pretty interesting was my stage weight from September to November was almost identical,
Mhm.
but my look drastically improved. And I had DEXA data showing that I lost like 5 pounds of fat mass while regaining 3 pounds of lean mass at the very end stage.
Is
So that
that
was like,
because you think you lost some of that? Like, obviously, you didn't gain 3 pounds of new muscle, right, in that
yep.
time. So you just kind of regained some of those lost.
Yeah. So, real quick story. When I was like 6 weeks out from my first show of the season, I was way behind. And I was like, damn, like this would be a good look for 10 weeks out. And this would be like acceptable at 8 weeks out. But this is like not good for me at six
Hmm.
weeks out. So I had to go pedal to the metal for a decent amount of time. And I'm assuming that's where I lost some tissue at that point. And then after show one, everyone's like, people I genuinely trust that have been doing this for a while. They're like, yeah, you got 3 to 5 pounds of fat to lose to like really bring in the conditioning. And a lot of people were telling me just lose 3 to 5 more pounds. And in my head, I was like, I know I have like 3 to 5 pounds of fat to lose, but I also don't want to focus on the scale weight, and I just want to focus on the look. So what I ended up doing was I actually added in 500 calories per day on my training days. I got out of the deficit on my training days.
Mm.
Instead of eating like 22 to 2300 calories, I ramped it right up to 27, 2800 calories. And I kept my non-training days really a really aggressive deficit. So
Mm.
rather than being in a deficit, 5 to 7+ days per week, depending on when I would refeed, um, I was only in a deficit maybe 3 days per week because my training frequency wasn't too high. And then on my training days, performance was way better with the extra fuel coming in. I started looking fuller. I regained strength on some lifts, and I just saw my physique change, basically week after week at that point. And then I put up some cool like side by sides of, this was my body weight in September. This was the body composition data that I got from this tool and that tool. And then, 6, 7 weeks later, I dexed it again at the same weight. And then here are my stats at this exact look. So
Yeah.
that was really cool to see. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't get too caught up on the scale weight, or I wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever it takes to lose more body weight. And I really focused on doing whatever I can to improve body composition.
So, and to be clear, so basically, if you had, let's say you had gone back to the start of the cut or started a little earlier, do you think that final look that you achieved and were happy with, do you think that could have just been achieved with a slower, maybe done properly diet? Or do you think there was actually something to the almost over dieting and then recomping that you couldn't have gotten with just slowly dieting?
Yeah, no, I think the final look probably could have been super similar, but there is a massive benefit to getting out of the deficit at the end
Hmm.
and eating at maintenance on my training days. So even if I did a slower diet approach, it would have been nice to like reverse into a show. I
Right.
really think that improved my look. But yeah, if I dieted slower and wasn't as aggressive and just didn't lose the lean mass to start with, then I'm pretty sure the end package would have been
Very
very, very
similar.
similar. Yeah, I was really happy with my prep overall. Like I said, I did collect data on it, and I'll be publishing that hopefully pretty soon.
Cool.
But yeah, I looked at other natural bodybuilding case studies, and some of the numbers I've seen of people losing lean body mass has been pretty drastic. There's been reports where a competitor has lost 15 pounds of lean mass during a diet,
Wow.
19 pounds of lean mass during a diet.
Oh my God.
And from my 183 to my 160 on a DEXA, I only lost 3 pounds of lean mass. And again,
Wow.
that might not be muscle mass, right? That can be from
Sure.
other tissue. And then like all of my ultrasound data didn't show any reductions in muscle thickness except my pec, and it
Mm.
wasn't even statistically significant. It was a 0.1 millimeter. It was like
Okay.
from, yeah.